Hello, welcome back, Google students and other interested folks. This is another Google Suite class tutorial presentation of what we do in class, and this one today is geared towards Gmail. Some portions of it may be a little bit easy for you because you might have used Gmail a lot. Hopefully we'll reach a couple of areas that you might not have seen before and things like that. So I hope it goes a way that you need it to go. Do always remember you could email me questions if we don't reach specific things, but really you want to see how it connects to your Google Drive. That's one of the really importantly cool things. So as usual, I'm going to go down and get Google Chrome open, or actually I'll just double click it here. And I'm going to keep it smaller for now because I want to get the instruction sheet on the side first. Then I want to get a new window like I've done before and get the workspace where we can see Gmail in another. So this particular file, I usually give you the links for it, is bit.ly/gmail.cl/prez. I'm going to press enter. Now I'm going to get myself a new window. I'm going to go to the three dots and do new window. I'm going to drag one of the windows off to one side and one off to the other. So I'd prefer the instruction sheet over here on the right. I would like this Google page, and I'll split the difference here a little bit. As usual, I'm going to close the document outline and see if I could read the instructions relatively well. Okay, so we're going to start moving on here. Quick overview of Gmail. Gmail is one of the most popular free web-based email services in the world. It can be accessed anywhere via web browser or email client like Outlook, Mac Mail, Thunderbird, etc. And of course, the Apple one on your phone, which is basically called Apple Mail or Mail. So any device that basically is on the internet or has access to the internet, whether it's a cell signal or not, you can get your Gmail. And there is even a Gmail app just for the specific devices as well. We're not going to really cover that here. Gmail does allow you to send and receive emails. Start video conferencing with Google Hangouts. That's one of the new things they've added, especially in this world of remote learning and distancing from each other. They've added in their version of that called Google Hangouts, so it's really cool. And you can also chat with people as well. The awesome thing about Gmail is the connection to your Google Drive, so it's automatically connected to your Google Drive. That's why we won't have to worry about creating an account today because you've already created a Google account earlier in the course. The Gmail screen real quick. This is typically after you've logged in. You have three lines on the left. They call it the Show Hide Folder pane. The Gmail logo basically gets you back to your inbox anytime you click it. You have a search mailbox where you can look for messages. You could even do advanced searching. Probably should have put in this tutorial if I didn't, but you can click the little arrow to the right of the search box and get lots of options. You have a toolbar. The number of buttons vary on the toolbar based upon what's selected. Right now, not much is selected, so the toolbar is rather empty. Going down the left a little bit, you have the Compose button to write a new message. And then you have the folder area and the starting your video conferencing. That's where it says Meet, Start a Meeting. In the middle area here, you have your message list. In the upper right, you also have the Settings button. So that's basically your Gmail screen. Some of you probably knew a good chunk of that already. I gave small descriptions of those things and what they do underneath there. Composing new messages. A new email message is a message that you want to write to someone on a new subject. When writing a new email message, there are three major areas to complete. The first area is the recipient area. The recipient area is at the top of the new email box and involves inputting email addresses into one of three boxes. The To box, the CC box, and the BCC box. This is where a lot of people get confused. The To box is the box for the recipients who you expect to receive a reply. So if you email somebody in the To box, you're expecting to get an answer back. The CC box basically means a carbon copy, meaning they're getting a copy of the message, but if they respond back, great. If they don't, you weren't necessarily expecting it. So it's okay if they didn't do that. The BCC box, on the other hand, is a blind carbon copy, which means anybody who's addressed in the BCC box is invisible to everybody else. They're hidden. So you can send out one email to many, many people in the BCC box and nobody else knows who got it, unless they were in the To box or the CC box. So it's a neat way to keep people anonymous and not have everybody know each other's email address. So if I wanted to email all the students in the class without student A knowing student B's address, I'd put everybody in the BCC box and put nobody in the to or the CC box. The second area to complete when you're doing an email message before sending it is the subject line. It's highly recommended that you put in a subject. That way your recipient who gets the message has a reason to want to read it. So writing an effective subject line is important because it tells the recipient what the email is about. It will make them want to read the email message. The subject line should be concise, and a recommendation is approximately 5 words long or less. So you're not telling everything you need to tell in the subject. I've had a lot of people, including family members, write like almost a sentence in the subject that has all this stuff, and I'm like, I didn't pay much attention, and then you're looking in the message, nothing's there because you have to look back up at the subject. It's not proper email etiquette to do it that way. Third area to complete is the message area itself, and then after that are any supplemental things like an attachment. So we're going to go on now, and when writing your message, do keep in mind of who you're sending it to so you have the right tone as well as the right level of professionalism. So keep in mind, I tend to keep things on the higher level of professionalism almost all the time, even when I'm emailing family and stuff like that. I put my opening, I put something in the message area itself, and then I have a closing on it. So Grow Your Skills 6.1, because we're on the 6th app, is to open your web browser and go to gmail.com. So I'm going to click in the address bar and go to Gmail, also known as Gmail. And it lists the account I want to use in this case. So I can click it, and then I have to put in my password. So it's making its way in. So I'm now on step number 3. We're going to write a message. As you can see, I already have a few messages here because people have been, during this course, as you can see, been sharing a lot of things with me. So step number 3 says click compose on the left. So this is what the compose box looks like, and I have a link in here that goes over what the compose message, what all these different areas are. So when you look at that particular file on yourself, I recommend you might want to open that link. I'll open it real quick, but I won't go over it. Click here, it opens the link on another tab. The way it works is if you point to these little pluses, they tell you which area you're looking at. And those are the main areas of a message. So you can read those, you can read all about it and all that kind of stuff. So I snuck that in for you there. So back to composing the message, I'm going to click in the to box, and you're going to address it to yourself. So it says click in the to box and type your email address, meaning the one you are logged in at this moment. And for me, it's A. Miller Bass Classes. It suggests it, I can click it. That speeds things up. Step 6 says click in the subject box and type first email. So literally type the words first email. Step 7 says click in the message area and type the message below. So I'm going to click in here and type this message in the box here. Now remember, where I put your name, you're putting your own name. You're going to need a couple of enters to separate your paragraphs. I'm going to take the time to try to type this now. Okay, so I've just finished typing it, and now I'm on step number 8. Check to make sure your full email address is in the to box. In some cases, it shows more of a name in here, like mine does. And if you ever point to it or click on it, it will show you the actual email address it's going to. So that's very important if you have some people that it's suggested and they have the same name. Like I have multiple email addresses, so sometimes if I start to type in Alfred Miller, it's suggesting any one of my 3, and it can show Alfred Miller up there, and it might not be one of the many email addresses that I have. So do make sure of that, because some of your friends and whatever might have a work or a personal email, and you want to send it to the correct one. Step number 9 says click send. So now we're going to learn about checking your email. Okay. Now that you have a Gmail account, you need to learn how to send, check, read, reply, and forward messages. These are the most important actions performed in email. By default, any email you receive will go to your inbox. To learn more about the inbox screen, so just like the other screen I did, there's a link here to the inbox looking screen, and it has the little pluses all around it that you could read more about the different parts of the area that you're looking at. So that's really cool. Okay, so now I'm going to read a little bit further. Unread emails will be bold and a small number appears next to the folder indicating the number of unread messages new in that folder. The inbox will show the name of the sender, the subject of the email, if there's any attachments, and the first few words of the email in the body. That's unless you've turned on preview mode. They now have a new preview pane that we'll get to when we talk about settings. When you select or read a message, a toolbar shows above the message. The toolbar has many buttons to manage the message. The toolbar allows you to return to the inbox, archive the message, mark the message as spam, delete it, mark it as unread, snooze the message, and a whole bunch of things. So once again, there's another one of those pictures that has the little pluses on it where you could read about those different areas and such. Grow Your Skills 6.2, checking and reading messages. You should still be in your email, but if not, sign in at gmail.com. Click inbox on the left. I just have people click inbox just in case somehow you're in a weird spot, whatever it may be. One of the first messages in this big old list, so this is your list of messages, there should be the one called first email. So remember, you're looking for the subject when somebody asks you to check a mail. This is the person who sent it, who it's from. This is what the message is about, meaning the subject. That's why it's so important to put in a good subject. And it said in step 2, click the message first email. Now you'll notice the toolbar. See that? It says step 3, click the back arrow on the message toolbar. That gets you back to your inbox. I have a lot of students I've worked with in the past, whenever you say back, they always like to go up to the browser back. That's not the same thing. So please use the email toolbar is better. At worst, if you want to get to your inbox, click inbox on the left. That's a much better way than using the back arrow of the browser. Step 4 says click a different message to read it. Now that's if you have other messages. So I do, so I'm going to click one. Here I am reading the message. Okay. Step 5 says to the right of the toolbar, click the previous and next buttons. So up here on the toolbar, see how you have a newer and an older message? So if I go to the right, I'm going to the older messages. See, these came on August 1st. If I click the newer messages, I come back. So I like to use the terms back and previous. They make more sense. Going backwards in the list, going forward in the list, or back and forward is even better wording now that I think about it. Okay, so step 6 is click a different message to read it. Basically, I've done that by doing the forward and back buttons. Step 7 says click the back arrow, and it takes you back to your inbox. Keep your Gmail open now. Replying to Gmail messages. So sending a message back to someone who sent you a message is called a reply. The message will automatically be addressed to the sender, and the subject will be the same but include an RE in front of it, which usually means replying to or regarding, something of that nature. RE means replying or regarding the original subject of the original message. So that's why it keeps the original subject there. Once you reply to an email, the message includes a second message that Gmail groups with the original message. Gmail calls the group of messages a conversation, and many conversations are called a thread. So some people will say, look at the thread of conversations. Grow Your Skills 6.3, replying to messages and viewing threads. In the inbox, click the message with the subject, first email. Click the reply button. So there's a couple of areas where you could click reply. Sometimes if the message is really long, you don't see this one. So you can always use this one in the upper right corner. They do the exact same thing. If the message is sent to multiple people and you want to reply to everybody, you must use the 3 dots up here. And that will have a reply to all. Since it was only addressed to one person, the simple reply works. See how it opens up the message and you don't even see the subject. Okay? So now I'm going to type what's in step number 3. So give me a minute to start typing that. Okay, so I just wrapped up the typing, and now I can do step number 4, which is to click send. So now we will work with conversations and threads, get an idea what it's like for those who this might be a little bit new to you. It is a feature you can technically turn on if you don't like the conversations being grouped with the same subject being grouped together as one. But I've learned through the years, because I used to not like it, that it's actually very handy instead of having them as separate messages all throughout your various folders. So step number 5 says click inbox on the left. Your screen should look similar to the one below. So at the screen here where you have see inbox with a number, but then you also have a message here with a little 2 next to it. 2 is replying to the number of conversations to this exact message already. So in this case, there happen to be 2 of them. So step 6 says click on the message with the subject first email. So we're going to look at that message that has 2 conversations now. Our screen should look similar to this one where you have the first message on the top, which has been collapsed, they call it. The second message, which is the newer one, the reply, is actually expanded. You could read it all. And then there's a button that says show trimmed content, these 3 dots. Step 8 says click show trimmed content. Now you see the original message. See, that's the original message that was here. Okay. Step 9 says hide the collapsed content. That's useful sometimes when you're replying because you don't remember exactly what was said in the original message. You want to show that real quick. Type in what you need to type in to answer better. Step 10 says click the first message above the one you are reading. So that's this message. Notice it only shows the first original message you sent because, of course, the reply can't be part of the first message. Okay. Now we're going to reply to the reply. So click the reply button, step 13. Step 14 says type the following text in the box. So I'm going to go ahead and type that text. Okay, so I wrapped up the typing, which now puts me on step number 15, where I can go ahead and click send. And now I have 3 messages, basically speaking. You'll notice that because you're sending it to yourself, you don't have to go to inbox again. But if you do, you'll notice there's a number 3 now. If you click it, you obviously get the newest message at the bottom. You could expand each message if you want and see each thread. It's kind of cool how you can do that. It's really handy. So submitting your work, to submit your work, you need to take screenshots of your Gmail inbox in the first email message in the message view. This is called message view. I didn't get deep into that, but when you click a message, you switch to message view. So to take a screenshot, you can use the snipping tool, or you could just press print screen on a Windows machine. So I need to take, first of all, a snapshot of my inbox. So I'm going to click inbox, and I'm just going to press the print screen button on my computer. And I need to go paste that somewhere right now. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Word because I have it. If you don't have it, you could always use WordPad. So I'm going to go here. I'll go here and I'll open up Word. I'll make it a little bit smaller so you can kind of see what I'm up to. I'm going to do blank document. And now I can just paste the screenshot, which in Word I can click paste, or I can do Command V if you're used to shortcut keys. Now since I pasted one screenshot, I'm just going to press enter. So I'm ready for the second screenshot. I'm going to go back to my internet down here by going here and clicking this one. Actually, that's not the one I needed. I needed this one. And now I need to read the message and take a screenshot of this one. If you want to, you can click one of the threads or the 2 other threads if you want before taking the screenshot. It's up to you. I would prefer it, but I don't say it in the instructions. So now I'm going to do print screen. I'm going to return to Microsoft Word, and I'm going to paste the second screenshot. And what I'd like you to do now is save this file so it can be uploaded to Canvas. So I'm going to go to Save, and I'm going to go more save options here. I'm a different version where to get to Documents is a little bit trickier. I can go to Browse, Documents. Now I need to name it, and I ask you to name it Gmail Checking and Sending. Keep it as a Word document, click Save. Now, if you have a different place where you like to save, that's fine. But now I'm ready. I'm just going to minimize this because I think we come back and do more screenshots. I would like to add it to the Canvas course now. So as a reminder how we do the Canvas course stuff for those who are doing it, I like to get a new browser tab. I like to go to the website canvas.instructure.com. I need to put in the email that I'm using. I'm going to click in the password box and I'm going to type in the password and log in. Once again, so if it asks you ever if you want to save your password, that's your choice. If you want to expedite things and you trust the computer you're on, you can go ahead and click save. It does speed you up. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Google Suite course. I'm now going to go to assignments. As a reminder, quite often when you get to assignments, you have to click show by type. Groups them better by subject, and I'm going to scroll down to Gmail. And we're doing the composing, checking, and replying assignment. That's this one. I'm going to click Submit Assignment. I click Choose File here because it's under File Upload, and I'm asking you to upload the Gmail checking and sending file. I try to put in the instructions up there. Remember what folder you saved it in. Gmail checking and sending. I can click Open. Reminder, if you want to put any comments, feel free to put in any comments. Click Submit Assignment when you're ready. When the confetti comes in just a moment, which should be relatively quick. Hooray! Yes, I did it. Freshness. I'm just going to click back on my Gmail here. I'll keep the Canvas course open. So working with attachments now. Now here's where part of the magic comes in with all this Gmail stuff is the ability of how it links with our Google Drive. So now that you know how to send a basic message, there are times when you need to include a file or files with the message. The additional file or files are called attachments. You can attach a file to an email message that is on your computer or from Google Drive. And when we say on your computer, that means things like a flash drive, CD-ROM, DVD, wherever you have it saved, external hard drive if you have it plugged in. That's what computer basically means. Google Drive means that online storage you have. Okay, so Google Drive files can be attached if they're not in a Google file type. So the PDFs, the Word files, whatever, they're going to just be basic attachments. They could also, I think, they can be shared, but from Gmail, I forget if you can do it actually with a Word one, now that I think about it. So a Google file, and the other thing about attachments is those PDFs, Word files can be attached unless they're larger than 15 megabytes. I have files, PowerPoint presentations, etc. They are much larger than 15 megabytes because when you add a lot of pictures in and stuff like that, they can be relatively large. That's why if you store it in your Google Drive, then you can give people a share link to it. So Google file format files like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides cannot be attached. They're shared via a link in the email message. You choose the access level when you click send. So I should correct myself. Yes, you can do share links from a Gmail message for PowerPoint type files, Word files, etc. if they're larger than 15 megabytes. Okay? So formatting a message. This is kind of the fun part where you can add bold, italic, underline, color, all that kind of great stuff like we did in Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides where we formatted some wording. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that, and they don't give you an abundance of options, but they do at least give you things like bulleted lists or numbered lists, which is handy when you want to make those short paragraphs and list something to somebody. I highly recommend it. It's much more readable. Okay? So we're going to compose a new message now. Grow Your Skills 6.4, send a message with attachments. Click Compose on the left. Click in the to box and type your email address. So the email address you're logged in right now. Step number 2, you'll create a message to send yourself with attachments. Click in the to box. We've done that. Step 3, click in the subject box. Type first email with attachments. Step number 4, I'm going to type in this message real quick. So give me time to type it in. Okay, so I just got done with my typing there, and don't get hasty. A lot of people do this. They quickly click send and forgot to add their attachment. You look really kind of silly when you do that, although everybody does it at one point in their life. You don't feel bad, you just own up to it by sending a reply to the person or a message saying, oops, sorry, I forgot the attachment. So the important part about doing attachments and adding them is we need to use our toolbar at the bottom of the message and click the paper clip. So step 5 says to click the Attach Files button. Step 6 says in the Open File window, click Documents on the left, and then double-click the Google Suite files. So I actually have to go here to access it, but here's Google Suite files. Double-click the data files, and then double-click the Docs folder. Click on the file named Energy, and then click Open. Now notice at the bottom of the message you have the file you just attached. So attachments will always appear at the bottom. When you do things that are linking to something in Google Drive, it lands where the cursor is, so you got to be real careful about that. So step 8 says click the Attach More Files button. So notice the icon changed a little bit because something is attached. So click that paper clip according to step 8. Step 9 it says in the file window, click on the file named Groundwater and then click Open. So we've added a second file. We will add the rest of the files at the same time. Click the Attach More Files button. Step 10, click on the file named India Tips. Hold down the Shift key and click Sales Report and then click Open. So it adds all those at the same time. Isn't that really cool? So you can attach many files, and these ones are very small. When it has a K after it like that, and the K is less than 1,000, they're really tiny. So step 11, click the Formatting Options button. So the formatting is this A-looking icon, and it opens this toolbar. In the message area, highlight or select the wording Composing in the first sentence, and on the formatting bar, click Bold. So let's make that word bold. In the message area, highlight the word Sending in the first sentence, and on the formatting toolbar, click Bold again. In the message area, highlight or select the word Attachments in the first word of the second sentence, and on the formatting bar, click Underline. In the message area, highlight all of the text. So do Control-A, Command-A. That's the fastest way to do it. And step number 15 says, and on the formatting toolbar, click the font button where it says sans serif for me, and choose a font that you like. So I'll choose Tahoma, or I can choose Verdana. I'm kind of a fan of Verdana, actually. Oh, and it says in step 16, I accidentally clicked away, Control-A. Make sure all the text is still selected. Click the font color button and choose a color you like. So you go to the font color button, the text color button, and be careful to choose text color, not background color. A lot of people, when they do this, they tend to accidentally choose the background color, and it doesn't look very good. So I'm going to choose this very dark green. And then you can click away to see the change, and then you can click the A to make the toolbar go away. Okay, step number 18 says to click Send. So I'm going to click Send, and it's gone. Now we'll view the message with the attachments. Step 19, click Inbox on the left. And here's the new message I just sent myself, Freshness. And step 19 says click this message that has the subject First Email with Attachments. Or actually, it didn't say to click it. I'm sorry. It said notice, so I went back already. It said notice the ovals. This is telling you these are attached files. If you don't have these ovals, just click to read the message. It depends if your Gmail is updated, and there's a certain view you have to be in to show the ovals. So most people, if you don't change the view, it will be showing the ovals. Step 20 says click the first oval, and it goes into preview, just like when we were in Google Drive and we had to preview non-Google files. This is what it does, is it gives you the same exact preview. Notice how there's a next button, and there's a previous button over here I can't get to so well, just because of my recording tools are in the way. But step 21 says to click the next button, and there it is there, but my recording tools might still block it. And then I can click the next button again to see the next one. I can do the previous button. And then step 24 says go ahead and exit the message by closing it. The preview, I mean, sorry. Step 25 says now click on the message, not the oval, to read the message. So that's telling you now you can look at attachments even before reading the message. That's really pretty cool, because some people know I'm just expecting an attachment from somebody. I'm not expecting a big long message. Go look at the attachment. So look at the difference here. It lists all the attachments with their own little rectangles at the bottom. Okay. The attachments are at the bottom with a small version. So just like before, if you clicked it, previews, and you have a couple of the tools to add it to your drive or to download it. So we're going to play with some of that right now. Now we're going to download an attachment, which means save a copy of the file to your computer. Point to the first attachment, just point, click the download icon. Now my machine asks, so most machines don't, it will just be downloaded already, likely to your downloads folder. So I'm just clicking save, and if it's downloaded, you can see it down here, the file that downloaded. In the bottom left corner is a link to the downloaded file appears. Click the file in the bottom left corner. The computer will use whatever app it can to open the file. So in my case, it's Microsoft Word. Here's that file open in Microsoft Word. So step 31 says close the window that the file opened. And if you might return to your email, if not, go to your Google Chrome icon at the bottom and choose your email. Okay. Now we will save an attachment to Google Drive. Step 32, make sure you're still in this first email with attachments. Point to the first attachment and click the Add to Google Drive button. See, this is where the magic is. All those attachments you've got from people, you sometimes download them to your computer first, and then you're like, now I have to re-upload them to Google Drive. No, save it straight over to Drive. Then you don't even need the email message to reference the file anymore. You can just access it from Drive, which is really awesome. So step 34, we're now going to organize it because it's saved to my drive. So you have two options. You can click Organize here, or you can click here. But I'm going to click Organize here. Step 34 says, if necessary, double-click My Drive. Mine doesn't make me do it. Double-click your Google Suite class folder. I'm logged into a slightly different email where I've moved that folder, so I'll just make it real quick. I cleaned up from last semester, that's why. Okay, so we just wrapped up steps 35, where you get to practice a little bit of moving those around, downloading, whatever you want to do that might help you. You've probably done that kind of stuff before, but maybe not so much with the adding to Drive. Now we're going to reply to a message and attach or linking a file from your Google Drive. We'll kind of do both. So make sure you're still reading this first email with attachments message, which if you have to scroll up, you can still read the subject. If not, click in the inbox on the left and return to this message. Step 37 is to click reply. So I'm going to click reply, and we're going to add attachments to the reply from Drive. So I wanted you to practice sending attachments the normal way you're probably used to. Now I want to kind of show you the Drive connection, which is really cool. So step 38, after clicking reply, says in the message area, type the following. Okay, now that I've done step 38 and I got the typing in, we're now going to insert an actual attachment using Google Drive. You can also do what are called links. Remember, Google files have to be links. Non-Google files like PDFs, etc. can be links, or they can be attachments. That's the big difference. So we're going to see the attachment part first, just so you can see where to choose. That's very important. And also when it comes to links, you have to line up the cursor before you do it. So we're going to do one of each kind of file just real quick to kind of demonstrate it and give you a little practice. Step 39 says click the Insert Files Using Drive button. So down on your toolbar, click here. Now here's something interesting. I don't tell you to do it in the instructions, but this is kind of listed newest to oldest. If you don't like that, you can always click the A to Z. Also, if you don't want to look at it in big thumbnails like this, you can also choose the list. I like to prefer list, so I click list. I also preferred alphabetical instead of last modified. So I click where it says last modified and I just choose by name. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't keep it this way. The next time I come back in, I have to do the same thing. Step 40, double-click Google Suite class. Double-click the Docs folder. And step 41, click the Energy file. Now notice down here at the bottom, two options. Insert as, let me move my picture slightly out of the way. Insert as a drive link or as an attachment. I get two choices because this is a Microsoft Word file. So click on attachment. That's really important. A lot of people forget to do that. And then click insert. So it gets down there, and I know we did it before. It's the same file. That's not a big deal, but I just wanted you to see how you do it from your drive because it's a little bit different having two choices. Now, step number 44, click in the message area after the colon after the word file here, because that's where we want to put that link to the other file that we're going to get from our drive. And what I'd like you to do now is step number 45, click the insert using files using drive button again. Once again, here's what I was kind of telling you before, is I'm going to try to move my picture out of the way, sorry about that. Is it doesn't remember the way you left it last. So it did at least leave the list, but not the order here. So I'm going to click the A to Z, and I'm going to choose by name. I don't put those instructions in there because some people would just find it the way they want. Double-click Google Suite class according to step 47. Double-click your Docs folder, 47 still. Click on the Google Apps and Purpose file. See how it only gives you the choice of drive link? Notice that. That's really important because it's a Google file. Step 48, click Insert. And see how it comes in a bit different than the attachment down there? So it always goes where the cursor is. That's what makes it very different. So now you're also going to notice what's interesting is we didn't choose share settings or allow the share yet. So we're going to click Send, and that's step 49. Because you're sharing it to yourself, it's not asking any privilege level. But if you were sending it to somebody else or a different email, it would ask, would you like to share? Basically speaking, and here's the access level. So I put that little bit in the instruction, allow the share if it asks, and choose comment level if needed. It didn't ask us because when you share to yourself, it's a given. It doesn't really matter. So we're now ready to submit our work with screenshots again. So once again, we're going to do one of our Gmail inbox, and then we're going to also do this first email with attachments file. So I'm going to click inbox on the left. I'm going to do the print screen. Now I'm going to go back to Microsoft Word where I want to paste it. Now I don't want to paste it in the same file, so I'll just quickly close this one, file close. I'll do file new, blank document. Now I can paste Command V, Control V, whatever type of machine you're on. I'm going to click to the right of that picture, press enter. So there's the screenshot of the inbox. Go back to my email by going to my Chrome icon at the bottom. Here we are. Now I'm going to read the first email with attachments. And here it is here. And if I want to, I could reopen this one that kind of shows both. It's up to you. Kind of see both. And you can do a screenshot. Just gives me an idea if you got it. I did my print screen. Go back to Word, paste it. I need to save the file in Word. File, save. I'm going to go Documents. I can name the file here, and I ask you in step number 51 to call it Gmail Attachments. And if you're not that clear on doing screenshots, you could always use a picture with your cell phone. And I also give you a couple of links to videos or tutorials that help you take a screenshot. I'm going to click Save, so that file's ready. Now, step 52, I'm going to return to the Canvas course, so make sure I'm back here on my Google Chrome Gmail. Go to my Canvas course. It's a different assignment, so I need to click Assignments. It's the one with attachments, so Gmail. Come down here to Gmail. Go to the attachments, attaching files from Drive and formatting. Click Submit Assignment. Choose File. Go to my Documents folder now, and it's Gmail Attachments. Now it shows here, add any comments, click submit assignment. So we're moving on to the last little section here of our tutorial, I believe, which is managing messages and folders. And then we also talk about settings. So I'm going to go back to my email tab here. I'm going to move my picture kind of back down here, hopefully. Okay, so managing messages and folders. As you use email more and more, your inbox can become cluttered with too many messages. It's important to keep your inbox organized so you can find messages when you need them. A typical way to deal with email clutter is to delete unwanted messages, but you can also archive messages. That saves it into what's called the all mail folder. Additionally, you can move messages to folders. They like to call them labels that you can create. Folders allow you to move the messages from the inbox into one of those folders of your liking. Gmail likes to call folders labels, and that you can label one message many things. So they allow two systems, labeling and folders. So you can label a message with 2 or 3 different labels and find it from the label name, but the message only lives or resides in one folder. So I am a fan of not really labeling messages more than one thing, but I can see the need for it. I tend to move my messages straight to the label. So you can make and name a folder before moving messages or while moving the messages. There's 2 main methods to create a label or folder. One method is to scroll down on the left-hand list, click the More button and choose Create New Label, or the secondary method is while you're moving the message, there's a Create Label button at the bottom. Let's talk a little bit about settings, even though we don't get a chance to really change a lot of them, because I don't want you to make any detrimental thing that you don't like. But there's a couple of settings that are worth turning on if they're not already on. For me, they're already on because I've done this class a couple of times, but I'll point them out to you. So settings has many useful settings to help you customize. You can choose the theme, like you could choose the dark theme. That's what I use with my mail, stuff like that. You can do a signature, vacation responses, all that kind of great stuff. The font size you like to use, all that kind of great stuff. So let's move on to grow your skills. 6.5, organizing with folders and Gmail settings. If you're not in your Gmail account, sign in, which hopefully you still are. I remember I set these lessons up in case somebody's joining this or trying a lesson later or whatever it may be. On the left side, scroll down. So that's the folders list here, and click More. Scroll down more yet and click Create New Label. That's step number 2. Type Google Suite class. And then click Create. So if you scroll up, you'll see it here, Google Suite class. You just made that label. Okay? So on the left side, point to Google Suite class. You may need to click More or scroll up to find it. I don't know, it behaves different. So sorry about that. And click the little menu button on it and point to label color and choose any color you like. That will help you identify it easier, and when you label messages instead of moving them, it shows it with the label color. Step 6, click the check. I should actually say here, go to your inbox. I think I said that before. If I didn't, I'll add it in. But make sure you're in your inbox. And step number 6 is click the checkbox next to the message with the subject First Email. So that's this one here. Step number 7 says click the Move To button on the toolbar. So here's Move To. And click Google Suite class. So that message is no longer in the inbox here. So where is it? It should be in the Google Suite class folder. So we're going to verify that. Step 8, click Google Suite class on the left. The name of the label. There's the message. Freshness. So step number 9, check the Google Suite class label folder was to do that. Okay, and we've seen that it's in the label. So step 10, you should see the message First Email. When we do, First Email. Step 11, click Inbox on the left. Click the checkbox for the message First Email with Attachments. And click the Move To button and choose Google Suite class. Now you could have done the check marks for both messages at the same time. I just wanted you to practice. Can you find that Move To button? That's the important thing. Are you remembering where to go to do it? Okay? And we did go step 12. So step 13 is on your own. You could try to make a label, a different label if you want, and move some messages. I leave that up to you to kind of name them, but remember how to do it. The steps are in there if you need them. Where we're going to now do things about archiving and recover an archived message, and then we'll get to deleting a message and recovering a deleted message. You can only archive messages that are in the inbox. You cannot archive messages that are in other folders. So they have to be in the inbox, and basically you're just saying put it into the all mail folder instead, because you really don't know where else you want to put it. So we're going to have to move the message back to the inbox in order to do this exercise. So step 14 says to click Google Class on the side over here, if you're not there already. For some reason, my machine's not responding very well because I didn't appropriately, I think my recording tool there was in the way. Now it's finally responding. And click the checkbox next to the first email message. It happens to be the bottom one. You're going to click Move to, this is still step 14, and choose Inbox down here. Now click Inbox on the left. You may have to scroll up to get to it, and the first email is back in here now. Notice how it kind of keeps the label on it. That's their new system now. Step number 16 is click Inbox on the left, click the checkbox next to the message with the subject first email, click the Archive button. So first we have to click the checkbox, and this is what the Archive button looks like. Click it. And it leaves your inbox and goes to what they call All Mail. So that's what we're going to do. Step 17, view the Archive folder to recover the message. On the left side, scroll down and click All Mail. I don't have to scroll very far. It happens. Step 18, click the checkbox next to the message, first email. It's this one here. Now be careful to read them carefully because All Mail has everything. And then click the Move to Inbox button. So instead of Archive, it's Move to Inbox. Now we're going to verify that it went back to the inbox. So now that it's back in the inbox, remember it's going to be in there by date or whatever. Now you can move it to a different label if that's what you want to do. So now we're going to delete and recover a deleted message. Click the checkbox next to the first email. So this one here. Click the Delete button on the toolbar. So I click Delete. Now, of course, it's gone from the inbox. Now be careful. You can't keep things in the trash for very long. After 30 days for sure, it's gone. Google deletes it by then, so be careful. Step 21, click the trash folder on the left. Now you may need to click more and then scroll to click trash. And here it is, first email. Okay. Step 22, click the checkbox next to first email. Step 23, click the Move To button. Remember Move To. And then choose Inbox again. Now you could move it to the Google Suite class if you want, or the inbox. I put in the instructions inbox because that way you could practice with it. You could delete whatever you want to do. Okay. Step 24 says click Inbox on the left, and you'll notice it's back in the list. Okay. Now we're going to explore and change a couple of settings. Step 25, click the Settings button. They've changed the settings recently where you can choose a density, a theme. You could even choose different types of mailboxes. So this is what I was saying before, these inbox types, some of them don't have those little ovals for attachments. Okay. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to click Inbox on the left. That has no relevance to the settings area here, but I just want you to have a screen that looks similar. There we go. So I click Settings, and I said go ahead and click See All Settings. Step number 26, scroll down to the Undo Send setting. So if you kind of scroll these a little bit and be aware there's different labels at the top for different settings. There's tons in here. That's why we don't spend a lot of time going over it with specific instructions. I like to do it live with the students who have questions. So if you're doing this lesson by yourself and you have questions, feel free to send me an email and ask me, what does this setting do? What ripple effect will it have? Or should I turn it on or off? So I'm trying to scroll down and find Undo Send. Hopefully I haven't passed it yet. My eyes are... Wow, they took it out since I was here last, I think. Oh, here it is, Undo Send. And I want you to change the send cancellation period because yours probably doesn't say 30 seconds. Click 30 seconds. That gives you a longer period of time to have a little warning at the bottom. You just sent a message. Are you sure you can click undo within 30 seconds? Step 27 says scroll down to the button labels setting. So I'm going to scroll down to button labels. and you're going to choose text. Scroll to the bottom and click Save Changes. Now notice your toolbar has different words on it now. And if you were to click a checkbox, see how you have words instead of the icons? Some people like that instead of the icons. Okay? Step 30 says let's return the button label setting back to icons. So we're going to click Settings. This is step 30. See all settings. Scroll down to the button icons or button labels and choose icons. Scroll down and click Save Changes. And that's all we were going to do with settings, although one thing I will mention in the settings that's pretty important when you're in See All settings, you do have what's called your font, so you can change the default font and size and style for when you write messages. You can also turn on what's called a vacation response. That's down here. You could also do what's called a signature, so if you find yourself always typing the same thing, like if you've noticed emails from me, they say, thank you, Alfred Miller, and has all my information, my role, my address, my cell phone number, my all that kind of stuff. I do that with a signature so I don't type it every single time. So you just click Create New Signature, then it appears on every message. Vacation responder, you choose dates, you put in a subject, the message that the people will receive get, and all that kind of stuff, and it sends a message to them. So I just wanted to quickly mention those, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time doing them, because usually in this course we don't get a lot of time to do a lot of email stuff. So we're on the final steps here to submit our work. To submit your work, you need to take a screenshot of the following areas. Your Gmail screen with the labels on the left. So you want to be able to see the Google Suite class label on the left. And that's the only thing you have to take a screenshot of. So once again, I can do my print screen. Whoops, sorry, I pressed the wrong key there. And then I can go to Microsoft Word. I'm going to do another new document. File, New. I'll close this one first. File, New, blank. I can paste it. That's all I have to do is save this one with the name Gmail folders. So File, Save. Choose Documents. Gmail folders. Click Save. I can exit Word now because I'm done with Word. Go to my Canvas course. This is step 35 basically. Click Assignments. Scroll down to the Gmail portion. I can click the Managing Messages, Folders, and Settings. Click Submit Assignment. Click the Choose File. Make sure you're in your Documents folder or where you saved it. It's Gmail Attachments. Open it up. It should show next to here. Add any comments if need be. Go ahead and click Submit Assignment. So that was just a little bit there to help you with Gmail. Hopefully this tutorial will help you out. Feel free, as always, to email me any questions or concerns. And our next video should be Google Calendar. Looking forward to it. See you soon.